More of my friends than I care to know have committed suicide. And I'd like to say that it's something I can't relate to, but I can, because I've tried. It hurts. Like, it hurts when, like, I think about all of the things that I had to do to come home to my family and to bring back my Marines and to do all the different things I had to do, and just to be viewed as a social pariah, somebody doesn't belong, can't be trusted, can't let that guy have too much alcohol, he's got PTSD, can't let him have a gun, he's crazy or anything like that. I just got tired of it. And I tried and I failed, but too many of my friends haven't failed. And so now I'm trying to reach out to them in any way possible, because like, I got lucky, and I feel like it's what I'm supposed to do.
Centerstone is one of the nation's largest providers of community-based mental health, substance abuse services. Today, about 2,600 Centerstone employees work each day on behalf of individuals and their families that suffer from mental illness, addiction disorders, trauma. We serve individuals from all ages, specialized programs for preschoolers, all the way through to specialized programs for older adults.
So Courage Beyond saw Centerstone as one of the very few nonprofits willing to tackle the very real and big issues of post-traumatic stress disorder, secondary trauma, traumatic brain injury, and other invisible wounds of military service.
We are absolutely committed with every population we serve to restoring the individual, to helping that individual fully reclaim the life that they so deserve. But you can't help somebody reclaim their life if in the process they take their life. The conditions that we treat, including post-traumatic stress, are enormously dangerous conditions. They have high fatality rates, and fatality in these conditions is evidenced by suicide. At Centerstone, we have a zero suicide initiative. And what that means is that if you come within our grasp, we are first going to help save your life. And then, together in partnership with you, we're going to help you reclaim your life in full.
It is imperative to get someone quickly to a professional. If they execute their plan, it's almost 100% sure that they will take their lives.
When I found out that there was an organization that took care of families and wives and children of these guys that are suffering and sacrificing, I said, I got to be part of this. And I tell people all the time when they try to have pity on me that I spent a year on the DMZ in Korea, and I said, you kidding me? I was doing what I wanted to do. It was my family that had the hardship. My wife raising a 13-year-old, an 11-year-old, and a 4-year-old, it was very difficult for her. She's the real hero of my family for allowing me to do what I did for so long, but she needed help.
We as a community of Courage Beyond, are able to support families through other programs and to let them grow as their soldiers and warriors are serving our country. So we are able to take care of them so that they are ready to be caregivers again when their warrior comes home.
Reintegration after military deployment is a really difficult thing. Once life sets in, normal life, the normal routines, you start realizing how broken everything is, or how broken he is, or how broken you are. It's hard to say which end. I think everybody's a little bit broken after an extended separation. I dealt with it for a really long time with my husband, that I could not get him to talk to me, open up with me, be affectionate with me or anything. And it's really rough, and I know that I'm not alone when it comes to that.
I have to say I was caught off guard, I guess you could say. I was caught off guard. In my mind, I thought that things were great, but as I look back on it, things were falling apart. But I guess I was faced with the challenge of either trying to fix my marriage or let it go. And being that I am a child of divorce, I didn't want to let it go. But facing it was extremely difficult. And the most difficult part about it was really facing myself.
One of the most recent additions to the Centerstone family is Centerstone Military Services. We created this organization with a very specialized board, recognizing that there are unique challenges, unique strategies associated with engaging the warrior community, their families, and significant others. These are individuals that have been trained to ignore their own pain and to be there for others. And while that is absolutely admirable, and I respect that at so many levels, it also ends up being a barrier to care. So we have had to develop and employ strategies that are different than the strategies we use for other victims of trauma.
A lot of people in the military feel that there's a stigma in going to services on base or services where their commanders know that they are having mental health problems. Even when I was in the military, it was a negative if you said, I've got a psychological problem, because a lot of times that's viewed as a weakness. My philosophy is that everyone has the answer to their own problems within themselves. The only thing I'm going to do is give them tools to understand it and bring it out.
Courage Beyond allows me as a clinician to open my door to this population who typically would not be able to come to see me. Given that we have been at war for over a decade, we are starting to see the residual effects on family, on the systems of family. And it's only fair to the entire family to include the warrior that we treat their support system.
We pride ourselves on being able to quickly match providers, counselors to persons who call us in need. So we have the ability to very quickly move someone from the phone call to us to a counselor in their geographic area. And again, we pride ourselves on rural areas where sometimes it's very difficult to find a counselor.
I think there are several ways to heal from PTSD. When I see warriors who are suffering from PTSD, the things that I hear from them are, flashbacks, certain sounds, smells, sights will bring on the symptoms again, and all of a sudden they're right back in Afghanistan and they're right back in Iraq. I think therapy is a very effective tool, but helping warriors to be able to feel more comfortable opening up other places, if they can begin to feel more comfortable doing things like going to a mall, going to church, even talking more freely with their wives and their families. I think all of those things are helpful. Working with the Courage Beyond program, I've had the opportunity to not only work with individual members of the military, but sometimes to see them with their wives. I've also had an opportunity to go on a retreat for members of the military who were having PTSD symptoms, who had pretty significant PTSD symptoms, and I was, I suppose you'd say, the embedded therapist for that group. So it gave me an opportunity to use skills that I had learned in that setting, but also gave me an opportunity to see that many members of the military, that many warriors together, and to see what a healing process that could be.
I had just moved to Post and I had no support network here. I didn't understand the Army life. I'd been one for over a year, but I'd been living in such a completely different place. it was a complete shock to my system, and I was trying to seek out something, other people to ground me and remind me of who I was as a person.
When I read about it being for military spouses, I thought, yes, pick me, please. That was during the phase of learning more about myself and being an active participant in my life and in my happiness.
I really thought, you know what, this is my first time I really should dig in and be around other people that are like me, because up until that point I had never really ever made an attempt to connect with other military spouses. So I sent a little bio of myself thinking, yeah, I'm going to send this in and I'll never hear another word about it. And then magically I got an email saying, you've been selected to go on this retreat. Okay, wow, I'm surprised.
So I jotted off a quick summary of who I was as an application, and I got waitlisted for the retreat. And at the last minute, they pulled me up off the bench and said, we would love for you to be able to come. And I've never been so grateful for being waitlisted before in my life, because through that, I met the women that taught me that it was okay to be myself. It was okay to sometimes be angry about what we deal with in this life, but at the same time, absolutely supported every decision that we would make.
During that retreat, it helped me to get even more in touch with who I am. It focused on me, nobody else but me. And I took a lot away from that. You know, the different activities, the painting, you know, which I never paint, but found so much joy and satisfaction in expressing my feelings through art. But when you're in it and you're talking to other people that understand, you feel validated. They understand the feelings that you have. So that was great.
I started feeling connections with these other people that were there, and I started really letting down my brick wall that was in front of me and opening up a little bit and hearing what other people had to say. You know, the opportunity I had to go on that retreat was life-changing. I was able to connect with other women that I think that I will stay connected with probably for the better part of my life. I had an opportunity to cry and really feel what I was feeling and unplug from my daily life to really have a chance to take a look at myself. So it was probably one of the best opportunities in my life, and I'm really thankful that I had the chance to go.
When my husband was deployed a couple years ago, I was home alone with 3 kids, with National Guard spouse, so there's not much support in the form of FRG, and was really having a dark time and really needed some help. And through Her War, Her Voice, I found Trench Talk online. It was the first time I felt not alone, especially in this journey with being a military spouse.
I would recommend counseling for anyone that needs it, and I don't think that you have to be clinically depressed or in the worst possible state to get counseling, but sometimes it's not for everyone. And even if it is, you're going to counseling maybe once a week if you're lucky. If you're looking at someone who is suicidal or having serious issues with isolation or depression, 6 days is a long time to be without somebody. It was really important to me and to Centerstone Military Services that we were able to capture these men and women in the between spaces so that they could go to counseling if they needed it, but in that space between, they could utilize our online groups.
It was amazing to see that there was so many people who, and even though we were all military spouses, we all have very different stories and very different backgrounds, and from different branches and so on, but we were all so much more alike than we were different. It was so nice to actually have that connection. It's really fun to be able to go into a group and provide the same support to somebody else that I was given. I've learned that I'm stronger than I think. I've learned that I'm never ever alone, and all I need to do is reach out, and there will be someone there to pick me up. It may not be who I think, but there will be somebody, and I've learned to trust again.
At Courage Beyond and Centerstone Military Services, our goal is to help you thrive, not just survive. And we can do that. We have counseling, online support groups, in-person support groups, and really awesome retreats that allow you to explore who you are as a person.
I love being able to work with military families because I can give back to those who have given so much for me. I want them to see the strength that I see in them, that they have gifts and benefits that other people will grow from as well, that their struggles can be someone else's growth.
We have the technology, the services, the strategies that can save their lives. And just as we owe them life-saving services on the battlefield, we owe them life-saving services when they come back home.
Centerstone Military Services provides life-changing, life-saving services to warriors and their loved ones. That can only continue through the financial support of individuals like you. We have helped thousands of warriors and family members, but there are hundreds of thousands more that deserve a chance to know they are not alone, that there are others who understand them, and that there are others that can help them. Your gift today can literally save a life, so please, donate today.